All right. Thank you for another week of joining us over here at Politically Correcting Podcast with Jose Pio. I'd love to say that we have Lavelle. I don't know where Lavelle is. So if anyone out there knows where Lavelle is, put it in the comments there. Oh, we tried calling. I'm really afraid because he hasn't shown up. He's not messaged for the last hour. Really weird. But we have Dan from the streets here as well, as always. Are you on now? He may not be.
I'm here.
There we
I'm
go.
Here. I'm
we
here.
have
I'm here.
We have technical difficulties all over the place.
That's okay.
Point.
Hey, we're here.
We are here. So make sure that you hurry up, click that like button if you haven't already. Follow the We the People podcast page so that you can be alerted when we go live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And at this point, this is where we, as friends, come together and share a drink and conversation with each other and come together because our country is too divided to be apart.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Lavelle, where are you?
Yeah, Lavelle, where the heck are you?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about something that we didn't have time to talk about last week because we got right into the conversation with our guests last week. I want to make sure I bring it up and have it update. Let's bring up the border, that graph of what's going on at the border, because this is something that, to me, it was pretty eye-opening about who's actually coming into our country illegally through the southern border. Take a look at this. The overwhelming group of people are Ecuadorians. Would you have guessed that?
No.
Ecuadorians. Nope. Actually, Mexicans are, out of the 3, 6, 7 there, they are the last.
You think they're staying there or you think they're coming further north? Like
to Canada?
Texas area? Well, yeah.
Oh, well, did you see that they've been flying into Texas and Governor DeSantis, the greatest governor on earth, he's saying that he's going to fly the same immigrants that come in, illegal immigrants that they fly into Texas. He's going to fly them to Delaware and put them in the doorstep of President Biden.
Be real cold up there. It's been sub-freezing the last couple mornings here.
It's not been that bad, but yeah, mornings are pretty bitter.
Maybe not in Rochester, but out in Wayne County.
Oh yeah, you live in a whole different county. I keep forgetting about that.
Basically, Canada.
Yeah, it might as well be.
Yeah.
But look at those numbers: Ecuador, Brazil, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba. Like, we got a bug that's just flying around. So if you see me whacking around over here, that's why Austin's pet has been flying around like a crazy. But look at those numbers. That's crazy. You would think that the number one people would be the Mexicans. Can we actually see the end graph there? But the Mexicans are the last. I don't think they can see it on the computer. Just take my word for it. How about that? I don't lie. I don't lie. So there you go. The Mexicans are last, and the number one group of people. Who was number one? Can't see it now. Ecuadorians.
Yeah. So even though you've got Ecuador way up there too, these numbers aren't small numbers. I mean, this is Brazil at 56,000. Yeah, it's half of number one, but it's 56,000 people.
But what you can't imagine is how far they have to walk in order to get to the border.
Yeah.
You know how far of a walk it is from Brazil to through Mexico to get to the border? You know how far that is? So there's something else there. And we talk about caravans and we talk about, people riding in on buses, stuff like that. There's got to be something else here. I know for a fact, I've talked to people in the intel community that drugs from China are coming in through that border. Fentanyl from China specifically. Fentanyl is coming in through the Mexican border. And you can see the amount of people coming all around from South America, not even from Mexico, South America coming through that border. That is insane to me. That is 38,000 people from Cuba. That is a ton of people to come in 1 year. Let's go on to the next topic about the next governor. Look at the governor from California. This was a funny conversation to be had amongst people because Governor Newsom here got his booster shot, took it publicly, and he was supposed to go to, United Nations. He had this big speaking part, him and his wife. His wife is she's a cinematographer. She does biographies and stuff like that. And she was supposed to go there. He was supposed to speak there. This was like a big deal for Gavin Newsom to be speaking at the United Nations. And he was nowhere to be found after his booster shot. Nowhere to be found. He was not on social media. He was not seen at any family gatherings, sports events.
Did they check the restaurants? Because I hear that's where he likes to go.
Yeah, illegally when we shut everything down. Our guest is over there laughing about it. But he's saying that his family had an intervention on him and that they said, look, you need to spend more time with the family. I get it. Being in an elected position, I get that 100%. But to give up a speaking part at the United Nations as a governor, and he declined. He was supposed to go there, and he quit like the day before. He said, "No, I can't go." But yet they're saying it had nothing to do with the booster shot. Someone from the inside said it had he had some
what do you
altercations
think?
From it.
You think he had some side effects?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You don't go silent for 2 weeks, and then when you come back,
Jose, you don't go silent for 2 weeks.
I don't go silent for 2 minutes. Everyone's here is laughing for no reason. I don't understand why they're laughing.
No, it's not funny.
Yeah, being a governor and not being in the public eye, that's crazy. For 2 weeks after you get your booster shot, it makes
Lavelle is almost here.
No sense. Oh, holler. All right. He's running on Latino time. So
that's racist.
I can say it.
What?
Let's go to the next one about the COVID cases up in Monroe County. This is a question that we all should be asking. Why are COVID cases so high across Finger Lakes region when our shots, our jabs, our vaccine rates have increased dramatically since they mandated it? They increased dramatically in the past month, but yet COVID cases are at their highest peak in quite some time. Why do you think that is? Could it have possibly anything to do with the vaccine?
It might. Or it might not. It's really a binary choice.
That is a very good answer. That is a political answer right there. Of it could or could not be. I don't like to think so. But the fact that more people are getting COVID and yet we're still mandating the vaccine while people who are vaccinated are showing up in hospitals by the droves. And you can fact check me all you want on that one. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that more sports athletes have died from the vaccine than have died from COVID.
Could it just be that more people are getting tested?
No, died from the vaccine.
No, I know what you're saying.
Like heart attacks and cardiovascular issues.
But could it be that the cases are so high, referencing your headline?
Oh, I mean, it absolutely could be.
Because, over the summer, people aren't getting tested. People aren't going to school. People aren't going to do.
But they're only mandating the testing for people who are not vaccinated.
Okay.
So they're not mandating it for people who are vaccinated, even though they can catch and still give COVID.
Okay.
But they're still mandating it so that, because they're claiming that the unvaccinated are the ones who are putting people in danger. But if your vaccine prevents you from getting as sick as those who are unvaccinated.
Well, they even said that. I went to my my daughter's doctor's appointment, and they said that the vaccine prevents you from dying.
Yeah, how do you prove that though?
That was what was put on the wall.
You have less than a 1% chance of dying from COVID.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say that if you get this vaccine, you lower that chance by a certain amount, and I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you lower it from 1%? To be honest.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence for the man, the myth, the legend.
He's here.
You guys have no idea what I've gone through in the last couple.
No, because when he called you didn't pick up.
No.
See, I would have an idea if you answered the phone.
I know.
And said, "Hey,
you know what? This makes for good freaking. Well, we're not on the radio.
I was gonna say good radio,
but this is good for the people. How are you?
Good internet.
She's not on the screen yet. We're still in the beginning parts here. Let's go to the next thing. Since we're talking about COVID vaccines and how they are ineffective, go on to the next thing. The guess is
ineffective. They are effectively affecting people, though.
Not that one. The COVID vaccine from Sesame Street. Big Bird. Big Bird.
It's just the next one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Real
two choices.
You got 3 choices coming up here. All right. So our kids are being told to get the vaccine by a fictional bird. But yet, when human beings state that they were able to beat COVID with very cheap and effective medicine, how do we take that? How do you take that if you if you come into a room and you see your kid watching Sesame Street, where Big Bird is getting the COVID vaccine and talking to your kids about how they should also get the COVID vaccine. On top of that, the schools are saying that you are implicitly accepting the fact that your kid should be vaccinated when you send them to school, right? So if they go to school, you've given them implicit approval to vaccinate your child without you having to be there or without your prior approval. What are your thoughts about that as a father of 2 young girls? How would you feel if your child was number one watching a show where we have a Gonzo who has turned from a boy into a crossdresser? Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there's something wrong with
That
that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm calling
that
it.
happened.
Gonzo is what?
Gazo. No,
Not Gazo. There's a difference.
Not
That's true. There is, but
not Grover though, right?
Not
no,
Grover.
Gon-
Because
Gonzo.
Super Grover is still Super Grover, right?
I don't know anything about
OG.
Grover.
You don't know Super Grover?
Nah, man.
Oh.
I ain't got no kids.
this has turned.
And it's got 2 boys.
No,
They're
this
way
is
too
the
old.
weird. Listen, I'm going deep in this one. Like, yes, I got kids too. They're older now, but
Right.
you got the young ones now.
But call it what it is, Jose. It's propaganda.
Do you believe it's propaganda?
Yeah, absolutely. If I saw
As a parent, are you, gonna say,
you brought up Coco Melon. I don't know. Somebody brought up Coco Melon. I sat
I
and
don't know what Coco Melon
I
is.
watched that. It's basically like nursery rhymes.
I thought it was stuff you put on your skin for alopecia.
I think that's racist too, but I don't know.
So my question is, where was Big Bird when the bird flu was out?
Right.
You know
In
what I'm saying?
hiding.
He wasn't around when the bird flu was.
He was just a little bird.
He was just but I mean, think about it. He was too big.
Well, but on a serious note, if this is where we're getting to with our government and trying to push this, you're resorting to using this. Because you see that Joe Biden tweeted out at Big Bird, right?
Right.
Good on ya.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't Joe Biden putting coherent sentence together.
Do you
there on
think
Twitter,
Joe Biden thinks Big Bird is a real person? The fact we can even ask that.
Well,
Do you
I
think
don't know.
he thinks he's a real person?
Excuse
Like,
me.
Yeah,
Making me
probably.
laugh, man. Jose.
do you think they actually stuck the vaccine in through the wing, or was it through the chicken breast? Well, it's not chicken, right? What is he?
Well, here's my question.
Nobody knows.
Like,
Right.
if your child comes up and say, "Mom, I want to get the vaccine,"
Uh-huh.
like,
Say, sit down, you're 4. Like,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah,
really
you
gonna
still,
push?
you still eat your boogers. All right.
Yeah.
So how about you not making any decisions for your life
Well,
that's going to
what they're
affect you for the
gonna
next 10
say.
years?
And that's what it is. It's what's the target audience of Sesame Street? It's not
Right.
parents. Parents aren't watching this. Kids want boogers. They want trash.
Yeah, they want to go on Nickelodeon where they stick their hand up the booger, the nose. What's that?
But actually,
so
yeah.
called.
But they don't care, and they don't want this propaganda.
But here's my question:
Nor should we be allowing it.
Right.
But we've already had this discussion already that kids are not dying from COVID. No,
At all.
none. Kids are not dying from COVID. Kids are not dying from the flu. Now there's kids dying from leukemia. How about we go there?
There's kids dying from diarrhea. I
there's
posted
kids-
that and people freaking shit their pants.
Oh well,
when they heard
why
that
would you?
there was kids dying of diarrhea
Jose,
in
first
this
of all,
world.
I haven't even gotten to you yet.
That's ironic.
Your ass, and all this mischief that you're causing. All right,
People got to talk. People got to talk. They got to.
you can't. No, you can't cause people to talk. No,
Can I not?
no,
Did I not?
Jose, not in 2021.
Oh my
We
bad.
are not advanced enough to communicate with each other
Ah.
through disagreement.
Proper discourse.
Words.
No. How dare you? Please stop it.
You're welcome for your entertainment for today, because I know you had entertaining thoughts when you were responding to these crazy people.
Oh man.
Let's bring up the next article, Project Veritas. This is very scary. Very, very scary.
Veritas scary.
Let me give you the background on this, because a lot of people don't actually pay attention to Project Veritas like I do. I love Project Veritas because they are undercover reporters and they get people speaking their truths when they are out on these fake dates with these women, just straight up regurgitating everything they shouldn't be talking about. But because there's a pretty girl in front of them, they'll give up the information. This man right here comes into possession of a diary in which someone claimed it was Ashley Biden's diary. Claimed it was Ashley Biden's diary. There was information in there which made it sound as though it was Ashley Biden writing in her diary when I believe she was in in drug rehab. I guess that's a Biden family curse there.
That's what they do over there.
So she left it behind at the resort that she was staying at for a drug rehab. I don't know if unknowingly or she did it on purpose, or it may not have even been her diary. This man right here, the gentleman that actually runs Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, he goes to the attorney of Ashley Biden and says, I have something that someone claims is her diary. Can you confirm or deny it? Can you tell me about it? Can you give me some kind of information to say whether this is true or false? No response. He brought it to the FBI and said, can you tell me if this is information that I can or cannot use? No response. He then says, you know what? I can't confirm that this is the information. So no, thank you. Here you go. That person still posted the information on websites. So there's excerpts of her supposed diary online on these conspiracy theory websites, right? The FBI comes after James O'Keefe and his crew, raids them in the middle of the night, raids them looking specifically for the diary and asks that they not bring up why they were there.
Where was this energy with Epstein?
Oh, you always got to make it about Epstein.
I always do. I always bring it back to Epstein.
It talked about how she took showers with her dad.
Yeah.
Inappropriate showers with her dad.
Yeah.
She was too old for it.
That's the question. Where's that energy when, there's real shit? This is a punk ass diary. Right?
It's a diary. Do we need the FBI to be responding to stolen diaries in this country?
And let's be real, they alleged diary.
Alleged diary,
but
right.
What makes it look more real than the FBI?
Exactly. Right. I mean, how do you say that's her diary without saying that's her diary?
Come on, man. Like Biden, you better get that shit.
Right.
I'm all up in there.
Oh, he was. He
In
was.
so many ways.
You better. Oh my God.
Oh, we're not talking about Hunter.
Oh no.
Good Lord.
Gross.
I prayed for the president.
They're Catholics too, right?
Last one before we bring our distinguished guest here. Shout out to the Marines. It's their birthday today. Shout out to the Marines.
Are y'all not hoorah?
I'm sorry,
Are y'all hoorah?
I'm Army.
Oh, you're Army?
I'm hoorah.
They're
hoorah.
They're hoorah?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're the
There's
jarheads.
some crazy mofos, man.
They're crazy.
There is nothing more prouder than a Marine, and they will definitely let you know. Every single time.
They were the guys that when I was in the military, I was in military intel, and I would tell the commander where to send the Marines to go do the dirty work.
And they talk shit about y'all.
That's fine. I was in my air conditioning computer.
That's what they say. That's the first shit they talk about.
I was in the room one time. It was the hardest core, Marines.
Come in, y'all uniforms all pressed.
Oh,
clean.
it was
Them
starch.
motherfuckers just
Starched.
straight up raw.
Oh yeah, they were dirty. They were dirty. They had scrapes and everything everywhere.
Shout out to the Marines.
Shout out to Marines out there.
We need them grunt men.
Right.
Or I'm sorry.
Yeah, can't say that.
Nah, damn that shit.
Can't say that.
Grunt people.
Grunt folks.
You're a bigot. All right, you're a bigot and borderline racist.
Better than being a little it.
I hope I didn't miss that part because I'm sitting here. You know the part I'm talking about.
What, being late?
No. See, now this is a perfect example of someone coming late, but it has nothing to do with color on this one. No.
What in the world?
No, this is not a prime example of CP time. No. However, Jose knows what I'm talking about. He's been causing shit all day today.
It's
and
they,
yesterday.
them.
They,
shit. Them. Use the proper pronouns, please. I heard he in there.
Listen, I'm just calling it like it is, man.
Don't call it like it is. You respect my pronouns.
They're not your pronouns.
They're not anyone's pronouns.
Exactly.
No one owns the vocabulary of the English language.
It's shared language.
It's shared language. So if I wish to use the pronouns they, them, and if gender and everything is fluid,
aliens are still aliens, right?
All right. I am what I say I am, and you must respect that.
Demi Lovato said aliens are people. We can't call them aliens. So that means we have to just stop the whole movie.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard because
are they canceling the aliens?
They're not humans.
But
So
are
you
they
can't-
canceling
You
Aliens? the
can't
movie?
cancel. You can't cancel a creature that would destroy
Sigourney-
you with a think.
Right.
Nah.
Sigourney Weaver cries.
I don't even think they're even. I don't think they're thinking about that far. They're like aliens. What the fuck is an alien? What?
We are so off course from the Marines. Happy birthday. Let's bring our distinguished guest here.
Get to
We
him.
got
Yeah, let's do
Shanique
it.
Byrd from Toxin Magazine.
Miss Shanique Byrd.
Thank you so very much for
What's
coming
going on?
on.
How you
And-
doing?
I am great. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, she speaks.
Well,
Mhm.
y'all could have had a
Yeah.
proper introduction.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, Dan. Let's not talk about this, all right?
Right.
Hey, I came just as promptly as your text messages.
I was just gonna say I could have been
Ooh.
better about my texting too.
He is terrible. He is the worst with
Yes,
texting.
Yes.
He is that guy that he won't respond and then he'll talk about it at the podcast. Like, hey, I saw that,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
text him last week. It was
right.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. I can't believe they're doing that, bro. That was 2
This
podcasts
is when
ago.
we get to know who Dan is.
Right.
That's right.
Well, that's what happens when you live in the woods and you have to cut wood and put the heat in the house for your kids.
I don't get signal till I come into Monroe County.
That's what it is, huh? Yeah.
And-
Living in the sticks.
Right.
I
Right.
thought we were here talking about our guests.
Yeah,
Not
we are
me.
supposed to
Not
be
me.
here
I
talking
don't know
with
what's
our
happening.
guests.
I
We
don't know what's
are.
happening.
Neither
no,
do
you-
we.
She's enjoying it because she's laughing
she
over
was,
it.
she was over there kind
smiling.
of like giving faces and like smiling a little bit.
right.
Like I think she wants to speak on a couple of things in there, but I want to make sure I give you some time here. Talk to us, please, about Toxin Magazine. How you're the starter, founder. What would you consider here?
I'm the founder. I created Toxin Magazine in 2010.
All right, over a
so-
decade.
So I started basically as an entertainment publication. So I lived in New York when I started it, and we featured a lot of urban entertainers. So from Ray J to 50 Cent and a lot of rappers, Lloyd Banks.
Kanye West. Would you have come around Kanye West?
I would have, but I wasn't.
We'll bring that up later on. We'll bring that up later on. Don't you worry.
Yeah. So yes, it started as an entertainment publication, and now it is a social justice publication, and we're coming after all you politicians.
Oh, you switched it up on us, huh?
You see
You
this?
should have stuck with that entertainment side.
You know
man.
what? Everybody's doing entertainment. Nobody's coming after these politicians.
You are right.
Mm,
CNBC has classified themselves as an entertainment news
Mhm.
source. They are not
Who?
CNBC.
CNBC. That's oh my gosh. They need to stop.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's all news sources at this point. Everything,
Yeah.
everything is
They're
entertainment at
supposed
this
to be-
point. So what was the cause of the switch of the change there of where you were going?
Well, initially we had a section in the magazine called "A Mile in My Shoes." So we allowed inmates from across the country to write about how they ended up in prison, stuff like that. So that one section became very popular. We even did an award ceremony here in Rochester at the Hyatt Regency in 2019. So that kind of transitioned us into more of the social justice, looking into laws, looking into what we can do for change. And that's kind of how it transitioned, you know.
So okay, so you brought up social justice, which is actually a topic of conversation for me personally because I represent a district where we are converting the high school into a social justice school.
Hmm.
The school right now is called Leadership Academy for Men, right?
Okay.
Leadership Academy. That's what it's called. So they have, ROTC program, so ROTC, the pre-military training program there. What does social justice mean to you? What does it mean to teach a young child about social justice and getting them prepared for the real world out there?
I think in my mind, when I think of social justice, I think of the criminal justice system, like trying to revamp that. When I think of social justice issues, I think about equal learning and the educational system, like all of these things that play a part in the inequities of, why Black people don't get the same education as white people, or people of color don't have those same privileges. So it's about institutionalized racism, systemic racism that plays a part in, why there's so many differences in our community, if that makes sense.
You unpacked a whole lot in there that I was going to talk about anyway. That was a
You just
that was
can't
a
go that
whole
broad.
It is
Here.
because you asked a roundabout,
Right.
trying to give a little roundabout thing.
Could
But-
you, I was going to ask, could you, like when I hear a lot of those buzzwords, what
Mhm.
I call them,
Mhm.
the amount, the extent of it, like how rampant is it?
When you say how rampant,
Systemic, racism and all those different types of
Institutional.
injustices that you inequities and stuff that you're talking about. How rampant is it, do you think?
It plays a role in everything that we do. And we hate to say that. Like, we've been looking into just getting hired. Like, say, for example, if a person of color sends a resume, it could be exactly the same as a person that is not a person of color. And they are like 35 times likely to get a callback versus someone who is not of color. You to think about, even with the criminal justice system, somebody who is like, what they do to young Black men, they, instead of them being sentenced in state prison, they'll go to federal prison because they can get a longer time for the same crime that someone that's, has a state charge.
So are you equating it? Are you saying that they're the exact same, or could there be something else that might just be different? Because you said that Black children are not getting the same education as white children. So you're saying that like Lavelle wouldn't have gotten the same education as Dan here.
So
Probably
we know
not.
that, right? Well, we know that Rochester.
He was skinning deer and bear in his school, so I can see how that could be different.
Mongoose.
Mongoose, my bad.
So if you think about Rochester City School District, right? We know that
I've heard of it.
Okay, you know about that,
Mhm.
right? So that's one of the poorest schools in this county, right?
No,
It's well, I'm saying as far as with the where they live, the poverty. You're saying
poverty where yes,
right? So you're saying that the RSCD, right?
RCSD.
RCSD. I always say those letters wrong, but that they're having a crisis, a budget crisis, right?
but why?
That's not-
Because
yeah,
they're
wait, yeah. I'm sorry.
well. Let's stick with the
Okay.
with the facts, because our son goes to private school,
Mhm.
right? He went to a city
Lucky.
school. Not lucky. Don't say lucky. We worked very hard.
No,
for that.
no. I'm not saying lucky. No, you're right.
Uh-huh.
That is a. Let me correct myself there.
Fortunate.
I'm just saying that.
I went to public school.
That's what the normal folks will say, because I'm coming from a public school side,
Right.
and it's not based off of affordability. The only reason why is because our kids all go to the same school. Right?
But our son goes to a school. I'm not going to name it because they don't give us any discount, or they don't, we don't profit off of them. So we're not going to name drop them. Go to a private school, the same school that Mayor Lovely Warren's nephew goes to, right?
Oh, her kids go. I mean, her family go.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
And
Black
actually same
privilege.
class. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, best friends. Actually, good friends.
Pretty privileged.
Small world, right?
Mm.
But we
Those darn politicians.
the cost of his school is about 1/4 of that of what we pay per child in a city school district. So how can we say that it's a money issue when we're paying, let's say, $8,000 for a private school per year, and we're spending about $32,000 per child in the Rochester City School District?
But it's not benefiting the children. When you think about the money that's going in the Rochester City School District,
Mhm.
it's benefiting the superintendent. It's
Oh, yeah.
benefiting. Okay, so it's not going into the schools.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking. I'm not saying, okay.
So why haven't we fixed that? Because it's obviously not a money issue anymore. It's how we spend the money. That's the issue.
Right. So even the school board, most school boards, they don't get paid, right?
They,
A lot of
this
them- a
one,
lot-
this one does. But
yes. Right. So, and we're talking about a school board.
so you're saying they shouldn't be paid?
Well, I'm talking about, think about other city, or not city schools, but the outer.
Of the school districts,
Right. They don't get paid, right? The school board.
right? They're volunteers. A lot of them are
Right.
volunteers.
So, but why does Rochester City School District School Board get paid? Why is the superintendent one of the highest paid superintendents in Monroe County? So again, and all of the kids in the school. So that's when
For
I say
producing
before-
the worst numbers
Yeah,
in
so
all of the country.
Right. And so that's what my point is that the kids are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's money, but there it is going to the staff that is not going to the schools. The
See,
kids aren't learning anything.
I agree,
books.
but I think the majority of people in the city will hear. I shouldn't say majority of people in the city. More of the more liberal left will sit there and say, we're spending $900,000. We need to increase that by at least another 50%. And we're all people who are in the know, like you and I, and a few other people would know to say, no, we need to spend differently. We need to teach our kids how to learn differently, because what we've been doing is not working. Can you agree
Right.
with that?
I agree. And you say there's 2 superintendents, right? So I recommended fire Leslie, right? Fire Leslie.
She's a person of color, though. A woman of color.
That's where I'm trying to get at. Like, I totally get the argument, right? Based off of anything systemically, based off of anything that where you see is you think it's an egregious act against the people of color. However, if you look at let's just kind of consolidate things a little bit, and let's not go outside of our city limits and let's look at what we have. Look at our chain of command all the way up to the mayor. We have a lot of color up there.
Right.
So it goes back to your argument of systemic racism. Well, we got people in color in places that have never been in the history of our existence. How can we still rely on that argument and not look at to words like accountability? And also, not money is not going to solve everything. We always keep talking about money, money, money. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the parents, because we are the ones that's making these kids, sending them to school. And if you're not making sure your kid is doing what they're supposed to do with school, I don't care how much money you have. If a parent is not involved in their kid's education, they will not be involved, and your kids may suffer.
But it's also very hard. I gotta say, we help with the homework assignments, and I'm lost. We're talking.
You
I'm
find a
very
way.
good
You don't
at-
even have to. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
you
you
have
find a
to
way.
solve the.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to solve the problem.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you have to know the answers.
All right.
You have to understand. Okay, if there's a problem between everybody in that household, we can't understand this Common Core nonsense, which it is a whole bunch of nonsense until I learned. I was like, yo, if I'm a kid, I'm like, I'm not about to break down this simple addition question. But at the end of the day, it goes back again. You don't have to know the answers.
Okay.
You just have to be involved.
Okay.
It's just the bottom line. And let's go look at those numbers before we say it's an act of racism and tear down the whole machine. Let's look at the people who's in place, because for years, all the way up to the now new mayor who was in charge of the Rochester City School District, had a deficit then, had a deficit after, have a deficit till right now. There's so much money being pumped into this. How much more money you want to give people who they can't even solve the basic, simple issues today, right now?
Well, Shanique, what do you say to that then? When we're talking about, Lavelle brings up parents need to take a more active approach. Do you feel as though that's not true?
No, I think parents should, but we also have to look at teachers and everybody else involved. Parents play a role just like teachers play a role, right? So parents send their kids to school to learn, right? And they should be involved, right?
Right.
But we have to educate them in the right manner. A lot of these kids are in school and there's fights and it's all these things. People aren't even learning in school anymore. So people are getting paid to not even teach our kids.
But there's a lot, again, you going back to the argument, systemic racism.
Okay,
Systemic racism. Now, I know at my kid's school, it is a very, very diverse administration. The principal is a African Black man who I have the utmost respect and had many conversations with before he was a principal.
You want
And
to
we would
drop the
talk
principal
about
or the school?
Oh, Mr. Kwame Danko Hansen, School 58. He's an amazing individual. He's been in the school district for years. And one thing he does value is education. He comes from Africa. First of all, if you know any Africans, especially Nigerians, this whole racism nonsense, they don't care. You are going to school and you are going to get an A, and that is all that matters.
That
right?
might be.
Oh, that's not a good.
Can we
That
get
is not a good accent for you.
You can say it. I can't say it.
No, but again, we
might do Dr. Kia, though.
would have conversations. We would talk about things like the budget, and we talk about money, and we was like, "Yo, there's so much money that comes in the school district."
There is a
it's
lot
insane.
of.
It's a
See,
lot
that's
of
the
money.
problem that I've seen a lot from the inside is that we spend a lot of money on programs that have produced nothing.
Right.
So you agree with that
Yes.
then? Okay, so
Right.
if a lot of these programs are not producing, should we stop it? Can we stop the funding to them? Or do we say, let's work more with it? Like what, from me, from a business perspective, and that's what I have is a business perspective. If I'm going to invest in a company, I need to make sure I'm getting some results out of it, or at least know that it's going to be within 2 years, I'm going to get results back to me.
Jose, business is white people talk. All
Yeah,
right? Stop. Don't talk.
I'm
Like
being racist again. My
Don't
bad.
do it.
Shame.
It's because I'm not brown enough.
That's
So,
Ah! We're gonna get there.
right. So, but I see it rampantly in the city, and I hear what you're saying, because actually one of the quotes that I wanted to read to you was from the Plantation Politics article that you wrote.
I
which-
didn't write it.
Oh, you didn't write it. Okay, so it
How
said.
funny, huh?
It should.
I'm gonna get you a magazine. I didn't even know it was
No,
like
it should list the person that actually lists
Oh.
the art
Pull up
the person who wrote
plantation
it.
politics.
I'm already on the site.
Plantation
Not-
politics,
not-
boy.
Well, all these black politicians up here being the charlatans that they are in our
It
city
stated,
council boards.
it stated, while I adamantly assert that institutional and structural racism are very real and represent a major barrier to our progress, I also assert that our behaviors of plantation praxis, I don't know what that word is, also represent a major barrier to our progress. Can you, I want to elaborate on this because a lot of people have the question of, and me too, being Latino,
Now that's not something I wrote, so I can't really explain it.
but you
Okay.
agreed with the institutional and structural racism being a barrier to
Yes.
progress. So there has not, in my life, there's not been any racism that has prevented me from progressing. There has been racism,
Mhm.
but it's not prevented me from progressing and doing what I wanted to do. I think Lavelle, he would have his own thoughts on that. I don't know. But, you know, being from a black man to a Latino man to a white man, you've probably been oppressed.
He's oppressed every day.
Those
All the
bears
time.
get me.
But so you agree with that. So my question then is, what are those barriers to your progress? And what stopped you from, because you're a female, black female who owns her own magazine company and you've owned it for over 10 years.
She's a
Well,
black
it's
woman.
been a struggle.
She's
Well,
a
yeah,
black.
but doesn't the struggle
woman.
make it worth it?
No, I definitely agree. There has been trials and tribulations with everything, right? So I understand that the difference is things may be easier for someone. And again, I'm not someone who will sit back and woe is me and talk about race. That's not really my thing. Although,
But you do.
okay, that's what I was just going to say, right?
But your magazine does,
The
should I say.
magazine, right?
Magazine
So
does.
I'm different from my magazine, but don't look at
Are you though?
though?
Because that's like me saying I'm
Now
different
we
from my social media.
Peeling back them layers a little
Right?
bit there.
So yeah,
Let's go,
no,
let's
continue
go.
on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
So my
But that's
thing is-
interesting. That's an interesting note. Continue.
Yes.
right? Because for me, I've been lucky, right? So I am a black woman. I have done
Are
many
you sure
things.
it's luck?
Have you not? I feel like you're diminishing your own value.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, well, I'm not diminishing my value. I'm saying that I've not had to worry about a lot of things with race, right? Because I was focused on what I wanted to do. So I wasn't one of
you
those
said
people.
fuck that shit,
Right.
huh?
So I was one of those people who I didn't care what you thought about black people,
Mhm,
black women. I was going to do what I wanted to do. And that's how I've progressed. So some people, right, they may still progress, but they have obstacles that they may not be able to get over. I've talked to people who are well educated and they reached a certain plateau or a certain level where they couldn't go any further, even though they did everything that everyone else did. You know, as far as education, proper
Maybe they're
grammar.
not likable.
Again, I'm not saying, but I'm saying in their minds,
Uh-huh.
they've done everything they were supposed to do.
So,
And race does, I feel like race plays a part in many things.
well,
I
And
feel
you
like
can-
that's a cop out. So
but
Well,
you know,
well,
but
hold
if
on.
you look at it, it's statistics. Like there are
Uh-huh.
studies. There are
Okay.
studies that say.
I'm a data analyst.
Go ahead, pull up these studies. Sit- what?
Well, no,
What?
I was gonna say because I mean, for everyone right now, it's not just black people. There is a huge discussion about the value of a college education or college degree, where nobody's getting a job, everybody's walking into debt, and
Right.
you know the
Buried. Not walking
I
into,
mean,
but they're burying their own grave.
right. I do think that there needs to be a reality check when it comes to a lot of people who believe that oppression is the reason why that they're not successful.
But it's proven. Okay, you can do. There's research. There are people who actually research this information that they can tell you that statistically, right, when the people of color get arrested, right, they're more likely to do time versus someone who is not. This is proven.
No, I agree. I
Well-
agree.
Right.
No, I agree
This
because they
is-
can't
Yes.
afford the lawyers that, let's say, I could afford.
Yes and no, but that's not the case for every situation
They're
because
not saying every.
Right,
They're saying
but-
Well, he's an individual kind of guy.
right,
He's all
I-
about
not-
the
right.
individual
but
person.
we have to go by numbers, right? Because we're talking about studies and research that has shown time after time that people of color have certain issues. Certain things happen that don't happen to white people. I'm not saying that it's across the board. Of course, there are situations where white people suffer just like black people. I'm not saying that all the time, but look at the research. Look at the studies. I'm not the person doing the studies. It's
Well,
out there.
let's look at the violence in our own community.
Yes.
Right. So all the studies would show that and everyone, I hate to even say it. I know it's like the wrong thing to bring it up,
Mhm,
but the vast majority of them are black men killing black men, right?
mhm.
And that's something that the Panther Party, Black Panther Party gentleman, Asa Adams,
All right.
talked about at that gun violence prevention summit that you were at, that you brought up earlier, that we were going to talk about now.
You was there?
She was
Yes,
there.
I was there.
She was
You
doing
say
the
something?
giveaway.
Yes.
Oh, you were the raffle with the mask
Yes.
on?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's,
why I didn't
what
know.
was
That's why you
going
didn't know.
on. I'm
Right.
like, I was looking at the mines. I was like, well, who's behind the mask?
So
Someone masking up around here.
yeah, but I sent you the video of us talking about it. I said
Right.
Asa had it spot on. And you talked about your mentality, right? Your mentality was you were so focused that you didn't worry about that nonsense. You didn't worry about what anybody said or any kind of racism out there, which
Right.
I'm the same way because I went to the same school Lavelle went to, you know, and being someone that didn't fit into one particular group, I was like a chameleon. I had to be a chameleon because the Latinos from the city they just didn't believe me, right? They didn't believe that I was Puerto Rican. The black people, obviously, I'm not black,
Right.
but they didn't think I was. They were
You
were
weren't brown
more
enough. Remember, I said that you
right.
weren't.
I'm
Yeah.
not brown enough. The color didn't resemble, I guess, enough.
You said
them.
Jose wasn't brown enough?
We talked about something.
Did you
because-
see how this man dressed? He
What?
dresses like straight on Puerto Rican. Like he's a Puerto Rican dresser. Like my man is. If the Puerto Rican dress is nice, he's dressing like a nice Puerto Rican.
Okay.
He's
I don't-
brown enough.
I-
No, I'm just.
I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like,
what to
I
say.
don't know what's going on with
Yeah,
this.
I don't know.
But Asa Adams had it perfectly. He said we made it a thing where black men didn't kill, or it was black people didn't kill black people. That was a whole mindset switch
Right.
in his community. Why can't we do that here in Rochester? Why is that mindset switch not switched on yet when we have 13 organizations, nonprofit organizations that are geared towards gun prevention or gun violence prevention? How has that switch not been turned on yet?
Well, I think we have to look at the young people. What are they watching? What are they listening to? We glorify the wrong things. So if you're watching,
I brought that up on Connections WXXI, and I got
well, because you're
hate
not
for
black,
that.
right?
But that's messed up. That's messed up. It's a subculture that is glorified by the media, by MTV, by
Right.
BET. They glorify the subculture because
Right.
it's not every black person is not into rap, and not every
Right.
black person is into smacking booties and calling female black women bitches, right?
Right.
That's not what
Right.
they all do.
No.
So when someone said that's just our culture, I look at them and say that's not your culture. That's a
cop-out.
subculture, and don't blame it on that. So at what point do we say, as a people, and I say as a people because, you know, a black and brown community, we tend to include ourselves as a people in certain instances, but not in all, because somehow I'm not included in all those instances. When do we sit there and say, enough with the excuses? Let's get our mind right. Let's focus and let's do what's right for us, our family, and our community around us. How do we switch that mindset?
If I had the answer to that, I would be a millionaire.
Well, it's
I
not
don't
with
know.
defunding
Right.
police. It can't be with defunding police.
No, okay. That's one thing I don't agree with either.
Okay.
I had a lot of heat for that because again, I'm not traditional, right? I'm a black woman. I voice my opinion. I don't agree with defunding the police. I think we need police. I know that's something.
The
bad to say.
the vast majority of people in the city of Rochester believe that.
Right,
They're
I-
just not vociferous about
right,
it.
but
Right.
people don't want to hear that. I wrote like that.
Nice.
A Latino with vocabulary.
Yes.
My vernacular is
I will
spectacular.
not
Oh
use that
my
word
God.
though either.
There's your
Oh,
white
Jesus.
Puerto
Yeah.
Rican.
There it is. That's that. Yeah, that's that
Mm.
suburban.
All right, we're out. We're done.
You know,
You
that's
learned
that-
something today.
No, hold on. I'm about to show the ignorance of when I was growing up. What we called going around and quit. Yeah, that's that white school education.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
That's ironically education right there.
That white
Vociferous.
school education.
So they're not as vociferous,
Damn.
but the vast majority of people in the city of Rochester agree with you when you say, I don't believe in defunding police. I don't
Mhm.
believe that police need to be out there acting like assholes
Right.
and freaking punching people in the face and that are handcuffed behind their back. I agree.
Yes.
Right.
It's terrible. You,
No one
you
wants
shouldn't do that.
backups.
But there is a very loud voice of the minority. I don't mean that by
Go
color.
ahead, say it.
I mean that by the numbers of people in our
Mhm.
city who tend to be white liberals, far left radicals.
Why'd you look at me?
Because I didn't want you to get angry. But what angers me the most is you see some black people fall right in line with that. You see some Latinos
Yes.
fall right in line with that. And Malcolm X said, who was the most dangerous people on earth in America? The white liberal. They were more dangerous than the far right freaking people who were straight up in your face. They hate your people. He said the white liberal was the one to be feared the most.
Yeah, well, I understand that completely. I used to be a co-chair of one of the organizations around here. I won't mention any names, right? And there,
Right.
there was a lot
Bring
of
them
Right,
out.
as you
there
say.
was a lot of white.
Drink some more of that white claw.
Right.
Hold on. Drink
I
some more of
haven't
that
drank
before.
that.
Drink
I
some more of
haven't
that.
yet.
You haven't
Oh,
yet?
my
Whoa,
God.
hold on. Stop this show.
Oh, no.
You
no,
are
no,
not
no,
on
no,
this
no.
podcast.
No.
I've
When
been
it
drinking
is-
water.
What? Oh,
Oh,
man,
no.
she brought a drink. For
No, I brought the water.
oh gosh.
I brought her both. She requested both. And
Right.
She's only drank one.
Thank you.
That's messed
But
up.
I'm just saying that. So I've worked with.
Is it your nails? You don't mess up your nails. I'll open it for you.
Oh, do you
Bring
want
it.
to?
Yeah, I'll
Let
open it up for you.
See, I didn't
got
open
you.
it
I'm
up
gonna
for her.
do it.
That's
Is
why
there-
I went
is there
over
a
it.
cup?
Okay.
Do
That's
you have
my
a
fault.
cup? I can't. I
Dude, you
can't-
got to get you a
Yeah.
cup. She's in here
Oh,
drinking
my
with.
goodness.
She's drinking with men. Okay. We have a woman on our show
we go.
drinking with
There
men,
we
having
go.
a
You
conversation.
can't say that.
No, we can't. And she is holding her own, right?
Mm,
And sticking
Oh,
to
thank you.
what she believes and speaking her mind freely.
freely.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
And
need
appreciate that.
alcohol to speak my
no,
mind.
no, she said you hear that, right? But on this show, you do. On this show, you do.
You don't need
Okay,
it. Let's not
yeah.
give out the wrong
Oh, no.
impression out there. We speak truths in this show, and
Yes,
we're not
we try
afraid.
to.
Yeah, we're not afraid of people trying to come after us because when we speak our truths,
Oh yeah,
you should never be afraid of that.
Right. You see, I post everything. I publish so much. People come after
Oh yeah,
me.
we're gonna go into
Right.
that.
You know, we had to talk about you.
Right.
Had to.
Jose
They had
always-
to
listen,
talk about
Jose
it.
always
always
talk about
starting
me.
some shit.
I
He
didn't start
started
it.
Yes, you did. I didn't even know who he was. I was
Well-
friends with him on Facebook, and he just got everybody excited about
Why?
you already. We talked about
We
it.
did.
Say why you.
But no, but as a woman of color, tell me why you would think that somebody would talk junk about me.
Well, it was said because when you speak, you sound like you speak negatively of Black people. So just like at the gun forum, when you said, well, maybe we have to change the test to make it.
I didn't say that.
Well,
I said we did change the
That's what
test
you said,
You said
to
okay,
lower the standards
the lower the thing.
so that we can attract more Black people because they were scoring less.
Right, but I'm saying it was offensive to some people.
Why is that offensive? They were the ones.
I'm not even.
They were the ones who asked for the scores to be lowered.
You know what? I had that.
See, this is the problem. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I gotta speak up.
Go
here.
ahead. Go ahead.
Because this was a problem with Edison Tech.
Okay.
It was families of color who said, you're teaching my child to become a blue collar worker instead of teaching him to go to college. That is racist, right?
What?
That's racist for you to tell my child that in order to be successful, he needs to go this route instead of going to college. So they switched up Edison Tech.
So how many people said that? See, this is my issue.
That's the
What-
problem.
Right,
But
right.
how many people do you talk to every day? Different people
so-
every day.
I don't
Three.
You know, what's so funny.
Right.
I
Right.
do think, and if this is when you speak to a lot of blacks, minorities, whatever. When you go over a lot of like different conservative values, right? And I'm not saying that they need to be conservative, they need to be liberal, what have you. But a
We
lot
can hear it. That's great.
when you talk about a lot of issues that requires the individual to be more self-reliant, about themselves, accountable, right? Things like accountability, we all can agree on a lot of those things. We all can. But just going back to the test
She can't
situation,
agree.
right?
She's looking at it.
I'm listening.
No,
I'm
no,
listening.
just go back
ahead.
to the test thing, and I can see where people could get what you said, like take what you said out of context. You were
No, it wasn't
answering
out
the
of context.
no, what? No, it was,
It was
because
completely out of time.
it was
context.
completely because here's the issue, because
exactly
he was
what he meant.
answering. No, he was
What
answering
I-
a question of what they asked. So
What
I
has
know for
happened?
myself, I
You need
took
to
that
dumb
test.
down the test.
No,
We gotta
I took the
dumb it down
test.
because these people are too stupid.
They've been talking
to
about
pass.
dumbing down
people-
that test for years.
Who's been talking about it?
Anybody that have complained and took that test that were minority, they were talking about that for years, and not just within this level. A freaking professor in UCLA just got fired for refusing to dumb down a test for minority students. So this to me is it has to be a level of self-respect when it comes to us as Black people.
But we have black police officers, so how did
Yes,
that
then
happen?
that
they
happened
dumb
because they
down
were
the
smart
test?
enough. No, they were smart
passed
enough.
the test.
But a lot of people who are complaining, the reason why we don't have black officers is because we're not smart enough.
No. It's
I'm
not
not
that.
smart
No,
enough, but
hold on.
I'm just saying,
fix
I'm
that, fix
speaking.
that.
But yeah, no, I'm not fixing shit. I'm just saying this is what
That's true.
the sentiment that comes out of from my people. That's what we're naturally saying to ourselves, subconsciously, not realizing that's the message that we're giving to everyone else.
And what you didn't hear because a certain somebody was talking over me. Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said?
That's racist.
And I said, and I looked at the gentleman that asked me the question, and I said, the fact that there were people who don't test well, who were taking the test and were not getting good grades, yet they were smart enough, meaning that they had the right personalities, right attitudes, the right connections in the community. There, and I told him, I'm like, maybe the tests are the problem that you should be talking to city council about and to the union about alleviating altogether. Because who cares if you could do math to do a police officer's job? I'm not dumbing down the police officer job to say there's no math involved. What I'm saying is maybe it's just your empathy. Maybe it's your connections to the community. No one heard any of that.
No.
Right. Why? Why?
Because once you said that, everybody was like,
There's not everybody.
Well,
Stop saying
it
everybody.
didn't matter
Well,
what
I
Jose
mean,
said.
It was
Yes.
one person
Okay.
screaming
It didn't matter.
loudly.
Okay, all right.
But that's what happens. One person screams loudly. The person that runs the magazine hears and listens to that person and then writes about it.
Yes.
And then I get lambasted because one
They said all
person-
you need is,
No, it was like 10 on that.
Not
oh, no.
10.
No,
Not
not for
10,
this
no play.
situation, but
9.
on Mary Lupien's. Mary
Oh,
Lupien's.
don't even
That's-
say that name. Oh,
Listen,
ugh.
you made a comment on
Ah.
Mary Lupien's page. This is when the
Ooh, yes,
Yes.
let's bring that up. Go ahead.
yes, that's when
Go
the
ahead.
article came out. Is they because I still probably have the screenshot somewhere.
It's
But-
on the Toxin Magazine
on Mary-
site. Look that up.
Wait, hold on. Can I tell you one thing about Mary Lupien?
Austin, can you look up that article?
Do
On
you
the side.
know she literally marginalized me, right? In this
Oh,
investors.
I was there.
Oh, really?
this little investors meeting we had
What did
with,
she say?
with the tenant union, right?
Mhm.
She pretty much marginalized me as if I wasn't capable. No, as if I was privileged, right?
Mhm.
To be able to become and I wouldn't even consider myself successful because I didn't reach my goals yet. But we were having this little back and forth about things you can do versus what you can't do. It's just all about knowledge and also your work ethic, your merit. And she goes to me in the most smug white, hey, reverse racist way.
No, it's just racist. There's-
It is racist.
don't
Well, why
pull
don't
that
you just pull
reverse
yourselves
shit.
up from the bootstraps then?
Oh.
Now, you know where that line
Mm.
goes directly to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Booker T. Washington, who would, if I were to come to him and complain about my current situation, he would look at me and say, son, I slept outside for weeks before I was able to get, into this school. I built the school by my hands, practically.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I did pull myself up from the bootstrap, and I also was a former slave as well.
What would Frederick Douglass say?
Oh, Frederick Douglass would say the same thing.
Why is the difference?
The
From then
difference,
and now.
the difference is I think that there was a mission to change that ideology that a lot of our Black men and women had during the late 1800s and early 1900s that was really being perpetuated. See, a lot of people don't know about our actual history itself, as far as the first ever African-American league that was created was started here in Rochester, New York, where you had Booker T. Washington, W.D.B. Du Bois, you had Ida B. Wells, everybody here in Rochester, New York, meeting to congregate and talk about the black plight and what we can do, which is hold ourselves accountable, go to church, create a family. Those were the foundation that was laid during that time.
So-
But some way, somehow,
Accountability,
that shit just went out the window.
self-esteem.
Well,
on.
I just want to
I
say
don't know
this.
about self-esteem.
Well,
Well,
no,
that leads into the article that we
Oh.
were able to pull up here. the Mary Lupin post that you're talking about here. Let's
Okay.
read this.
Okay.
And I want you to see I want you to hear how ridiculous this sounds. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead.
But this has got to be a made-up story.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Walking on the pier in Webster, which is a east side suburb,
Black little boy.
a
Ooh.
black little boy,
Ooh.
man,
Mm.
can you say that?
Mm.
Was showing his mom the big houses on the beach, saying, I want to live there. I'll paint my whole body white so I can live with them.
There are no big houses on
She got away with
the
saying this shit?
There's
here in Webster, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Thank you. And she goes with, it is the greatest tragedy that our children of color feel limited by their skin color to be able to achieve their dreams.
What gives her that? What gives
My response, go down to my response, because I'm not dealing with this.
what gives,
It didn't matter
hold
if
on,
it was
wait a minute.
Oh, you wanna
What
keep going?
gives
Okay.
what gives Mary Lippin the approval to speak what our yo? First of all, the you know what I would have said, or no, I
She's
would
an
have
ally.
directed him.
She's an ally.
Yo, I would have directed that young little black boy to someone like Les Brown, someone like Booker T. Washington, someone like Frederick Douglass,
Thomas Sowell,
Sowell. You know, the people who will. I mean, do you listen to
Marcus
Les
C.
Brown, right?
Williams.
Les Brown? You said who? You said who to
Sorry.
Les Brown?
You don't know Les
Restore.
Brown?
Got-
Oh man, see,
we need to have a conversation after this. We need
Let's-
to talk.
yeah, I know who that is.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, I was about
my
to say.
response to this young person, was sounds like the parents need to teach some self-confidence, ambition, and drive in that
Yo,
child.
you got some hate and laughter from that? 39 people said, "What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
Don't you dare inspire that little young black boy to think better of himself.
Wait, so it's negative to say that you should know that you're capable?
That you can do it yourself.
Bullshit.
That you can do it
came
yourself.
reverse.
From Jose. It
That's
came
not-
from
But
him.
why
you
is
don't
that?
think-
Hold on.
but you don't think Mary Lippin's statement is like a reverse racist statement, though?
I thought it was dumb. I thought it was dumb.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on.
At
Can
least
I
it was
just
dumb.
point out?
Oh,
Can I-
Austin's on there!
Oh,
Austin's
Austin,
on
let me
there!
get the
His
mic.
face is on
Yes!
there!
I gotta point out in this article the next. Do you see the next line after?
There's too much white
Uh,
here.
the article calls you a bird brain.
Oh, you
Oh,
were
no,
a
no, no, that
bird
was
brain
her.
too?
Wait, I don't
Oh,
know.
that
who
was
it
her.
Bird?
I don't
That
know.
was Shanique Byrd. That's
shit.
the
Scroll
name of it.
down. I don't remember the
Oh,
article.
wait, first of all, Shanique,
Unfortunately
with
for
your-
this bird brain,
yo, Shanique,
Lupin's
for you-
followers.
for
Wait,
you,
where did I write it? Where is it? I don't see anything.
Let's see.
about-
Scroll up. Where do you
do you
you don't
say?
write the author.
listen, I just want to let y'all know.
Scroll up to see if it has author name.
Oh,
on it.
it is.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
he doesn't like black people.
Yeah.
So I
As
must
she
be,
laughs. Hold on.
I must be the token
on.
black guy on the show, right? That is, you know.
By the way.
P-brain. Yep. Sorry. Oh, let's continue on.
P-brain.
Let's go up to the article. Let's talk about
I'm
this
glad you
article.
came though. You at least came to the show.
Go
Yeah,
scroll
that's
up.
what's
Scroll
up.
up.
That
Scroll up.
means you gangster.
Stop.
You
Yep.
gangster.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about online bullying here.
Oh, this is not online. Okay, but go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
In what world do you live in where this is not online bullying?
You ran into this. Go back to the to Mary Lou.
I ran into this.
You ran right into
How does this have anything to do with Mayor Pio? Supposedly, I was going to run for mayor.
That was a rumor.
Hell yeah.
rumor. Oh,
Did you
shit.
did you ever consider running for mayor?
I would
That's-
never not consider.
Oh, okay. So that was a rumor. I was told you were considering that.
Well, having a picture of me and the great Sheriff
I love.
Baxter
Yes,
there.
I love him.
Do you see how tall I look
Well, you
compared to
better
him?
be careful
It was a
saying
bad
that
angle.
about a
Oh,
white
It was a
cop.
bad angle.
Be careful.
I just interviewed him for the publication. Okay, so go ahead.
Did you call him P-brained?
I like.
Mm.
Well, you know what? I
Oh, so
actually
you like
met
him, so you
I
didn't
met
say
him
that.
and I know him. So, well, I can't say I know him, but I met him and he's a.
Say
what?
it. Say it. Go ahead. Say
He's
it.
a great
There's
guy.
more.
The
Yeah.
pint-sized loudmouth.
Ooh, she
Okay.
was going hard.
Listen,
Pint size.
Who's taller?
Oh shit. She got
I'm certain I'm taller. She has heels.
yo, Shanique.
I don't
Shanique.
even remember this article. Let me.
I know. I bet when
I don't
the
remember
drinks
half
is
the
on,
stuff
the
from
gloves is off,
2016.
Shanique is like straight up. Listen, P Brain.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
No, so
I'll snap
I
you.
told no.
So at what point is this not online bullying?
So I
Mm.
told you right when I started this,
Mhm.
She said
right?
what I said was.
Yeah. See what I had meant
What I had-
was
what I
No,
meant
but no.
was-
It was supposed to be more like I told you, like a Jon Stewart, like a
Yeah, but Jon Stewart's
Trevor.
funny.
Right, and it was supposed to be funny. But
There's a big difference there.
right.
Right.
And
Listen,
white.
this is what people are. I can. What did
This
you
is
say
what
about
Pio,
being white?
who is Hispanic, has been accused of being biased against Black people. This is what I don't like, because there are a lot of Black people that read your magazine,
Yes, I know.
and saying things like this without any kind of tell me when.
Tell you when. Go
Yeah,
back to
when
the,
have I been biased against Black people?
go back to the Mary Lupian
Uh-huh.
and read what the activist has said.
I don't give a fuck about what the activists
That's
say.
it. Okay, so this is
Say
what people
what
have to
Jose
remember.
Pio said.
But listen,
Mhm.
what people don't understand is I don't know a lot of these people that we write about. Somebody contacts us.
My number is widely available. My email is widely out there. My website.
Tell him,
has
Shanique,
a
like, yo,
contact
listen,
me
yo, I gotta
page.
sell magazines, goddammit.
Yeah, say
This
it.
a business,
Say it. You gotta
goddammit.
sell clicks. You
No,
gotta sell
that's-
I'm
clicks.
an entrepreneur first of all, Jose. So you gonna sell papers
of all.
whether I'm right or wrong,
Right.
and then
But I'm
put me
never
on your
wrong.
podcast so I
To get
can
some work.
speak my truth.
I see what you're
But
doing.
listen, no, this is it. My my publication is a community publication. It's a community
What
reporter.
community?
It's whatever community that feels voiceless.
The
right?
white
So we-
community.
Yo, I'm
No,
not
because-
I
even,
actually
yo.
had a teacher that is white. Come on, and she felt voiceless.
Yeah, but she's a teacher.
Well, the point is,
I was
I
a
don't know what
teacher.
that
I can
means.
say it. I
don't
can
know what
say
that
it.
means.
but my
I
point
was.
is, many of these articles, it's public. It's a community. It's a community publication.
But
So
you're
what
you're
happens?
skewing the view of the people against someone who has worked a lot in the community.
But go back to the activists. These are their.
done nothing.
You can't say activists. What have they done?
Everybody,
what
that's the
have they
thing.
done?
Yo, I love the whole activist
Right,
tag.
everyone's an
Everybody's
activist.
a goddamn
But
activist.
Think
Like,
about now who dislikes you? The activists.
No. Be
A lot
very
of them.
specific. Be very specific.
Okay, so how many?
what?
Look
The
at
far
look at,
left radical
but it's a lot of them.
is not that many.
It's enough of them.
There's 39 people that responded to that. 39.
What
There's
qualifies you to be an
200
activist?
over 200,000 people in
that
our
is-
city.
right? But we're talking about a small group of people.
And we're
But-
talking about the people who actually read. The people who follow Mary Lupian are usually not the same people that follow Jose Pio,
right. I agree.
right? So they're totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to put that same thing on my page, I would get a lot of, yes, we empower people to be able to get themselves to the point where they can
Mhm.
build that generational wealth. Let's help them. Where can we help? How can we
Mhm.
help? I have set up programs and fundraisers, and I have gotten way more money from people that are not aligned with Mary Lupian than people who are aligned with Jose Pio.
Right.
The
but are you
money-
borderline Republican?
Why is it?
Whoa, why does
Hold
it
on,
have
hold
to?
on.
But what does that have
Hold
to
on.
do with race, though?
No.
It doesn't have anything. to
No,
do
Right,
with
because
it.
what I believe in is that most people are moderate. They are in the middle.
Yeah, I'm an independent.
Yeah, I believe most people are there and they want to hear a voice of moderation, meaning that there's a far left voice
Mm-hmm.
and there tends to be the more, I don't want to say far right, because far right to me is, I hate you because you're
Mm.
black. I hate you because you're Latino. That's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also people saying, shut your mouth because you're not Latino enough for my liking. And they're
Right.
white. And that's
Mhm.
not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
so we can
also
go through
that's
that.
what was written.
Well, let's go down. Yeah, let's go down to that. Well, hold on. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Hold on, go back.
Okay.
Right in the middle of there. Hold on. Because I do gotta say this.
What?
When I apologized for what
Where are you reading?
right in the middle there, huh?
Yeah.
I said I did not speak with love and compassion. I'm sorry, I spoke condescendingly. There was
Mm.
just no excuse.
Mm.
Right?
Mhm.
And then you said, wait a cotton pick in a minute.
Mhm.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
never apologized for what I said. I apologized for how I said
I
it.
took that.
And I just want to know, I want my listeners to know
Oh, okay. So, but that's
that
what
I
you
never
said.
apologized for what I said because I was right about what I said, which was that our leaders, our black leaders here in the city, were talking about things they have no reason to be talking about, which was the health disparities of COVID attacking black people and brown people more than white people. The city does not do anything for health. It is a county problem. Doesn't matter if it's physical health or mental health. That is a county problem. We spent 2 months, March, April, talking about this.
Maybe it's not a race thing. Maybe it's a proximity thing.
Yeah,
No, it's a health thing
yeah.
because people of color tend to have poor health. We eat a lot of salty foods. We eat a lot of fried foods. I eat a lot of pork.
I love
Right? I'm
McDonald's.
Puerto
How
Rican.
dare we hold ourselves? How dare you try and hold the black community accountable?
But can
How dare
somebody
you?
outside of the black community hold them accountable? What
That was
right
me.
do you have?
Yeah,
but
but
what
That was
right do
me.
you have?
That was me.
Why not?
That was me. I'm an elected official. The people
Talking
voted me
about the
in.
problem.
The people who are under me right here that are talking were elected by nobody.
Because we're trying
Actually,
to hold.
Michael
Yo,
ran, right? And he lost terribly, didn't he?
You
I
Let's
don't know
say
the
it. Let's be
numbers.
honest.
I don't know the numbers. I didn't look at the numbers.
Oh no, he
put it
lost
like this.
terribly.
Okay.
You know how much I enjoy hearing Mary Lupian speak, right? You know how much.
First of all, I love Mary Lupian. Let me put that out there. I personally, I do
Fine,
love
great.
Mary Lupian.
I'm talking about for myself. I'm talking about for you
I don't
and
know why
I
we're
and
laughing.
everybody
Why are we
on this
laughing?
stage. For what she said in this whole thing right
yeah,
here,
that's fucked
I
up.
find that very egregious.
Do you?
Yes, you want to know why?
Why?
I want to
Because
know why too.
because she pretty much spoke for number one, the kid and also the family that kid is from. What does she know? What, who within that family may have the ability to help that kid reach that status? There is nothing stopping anybody from
reach.
doing anything.
Yeah.
That was a reach.
No. There is nothing stopping anybody.
But she's expecting them not to be able to help them because
Yeah, exactly. So she, again, like she did to me, she marginalized this kid.
who walks to
thinking
Pier in Webster
that
though?
they don't have the ability to even acquire
No
this information to
Unless
do
you
that.
live there.
Not even them.
Not even them. Who walks to Pier in Webster?
Also, wouldn't the response to this be you should be proud to be black? That's okay.
Why would you blame it on white supremacy though?
Why would you want to
Who-
be?
Where
wha-
do you? I don't know. Where do you see all?
He's
that?
saying why wasn't that the answer? Why isn't the answer be proud that you're black and that you have
Yeah. Why
the
would
same
you try to be?
capabilities as anyone else? Because if you put your mind to something and you work hard and you don't listen to all this nonsense out there, you can also own your own magazine company
just
and
to give you-
trash Latino
And live,
items.
and own a 900 square foot house on Webster Pier.
Yo, I can give you a story of my own self being in one of those houses of a man that is probably one of the biggest, real estate lenders in the city. Like I was in his house, he's sitting, his house sits on top of the bay looking over, Irondequoit Bay and Lake Ontario. I must tell you that myself and the other Italian man that was in his house at that time were literally like, in awe. But at the same time, we left like inspired as hell, thinking like, yeah, we're gonna get that shit next ourselves.
So you didn't go to Home Depot, buy a can of white paint, and say you're gonna paint your body
no,
white.
I don't.
So that
need
you
to-
too can live there.
No, I didn't.
You
say
see how
that to
ridiculous that is,
myself.
Yeah,
though.
no,
Yeah.
I think it.
I
was
think she
silly.
should have been called
Right.
out on that shit.
Right.
though.
Why didn't you call her out?
Okay, I've called Mary Lupian out on a few occasions.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, well, you missed it.
I must not.
She
I
got to-
must
she-
not be paying
I
attention to
didn't-
the magazine.
She knew about Daniel Prude,
She did.
just like
She did.
Lovely. And I always called that out because I wondered why people went after Lovely and not Lupian as she's out there protesting with the protesters.
She's so whack.
Because she's aligned.
Lupian is so whack.
Yeah.
Because she's aligned with their needs, and so the enemy of my enemy becomes my
Mhm.
ally.
Yeah, she's
Mhm,
she's
but
already
yeah.
getting votes.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
in Beechwood District, and crime is 2%.
I can promise you.
Yo,
That's not what she sounds like.
she really thought that I was just some most super rich black dude that
White
came out of
dude.
the suburbs. No, I was a black dude
Oh,
that
yeah,
come
yeah,
out of
yeah.
the suburbs,
Yep.
and I had a silver spoon in my mouth, not knowing that I grew up on Jefferson and Elba and Norton and all those, and I'm still in the hood. I come out my house and there's 6 shell casings out in front of my house because somebody got shot next door. Somebody got shot right around the corner. Somebody got shot up the block. My brother got killed less than a half a mile from me, not knowing my story, but then gonna turn in my face and tell me I'm privileged. And well, why don't you just tell anyone to pull themselves up from their bootstraps? Then, it's that easy.
She
Why
painted.
was
She
that
painted you
offensive?
white.
It was offensive because, again, she looked at me as if I was either privileged and I didn't work hard and I didn't get here on my own merit. We can do that shit.
Or that you sold
We
yourself.
can
you
do
sold
it.
yourself to
Right.
the white man to get where you
and
are.
that's bullshit.
And that's
so
what I
she's
don't like.
capitalizing on our shit, our problems, our issues within our community, holding a place of office, sitting in Beechwood District,
You sound very
sipping.
angry.
I am angry
Oh.
because here's the thing. That what
That's
I think.
racist.
Right.
That's-
No,
that's
no.
what he does.
No.
That's what he does.
No.
Just
I'm
let
going to
him.
go
We're just
back
gonna go. We're
because
just gonna do it.
let's call a spade a spade. Every time someone in the black community want to point the finger at something that is not, when it's something happens to them, and then when I call it out, right, or when someone calls it out from someone like this that's a liberal or a Democrat, I get looked at as I'm crazy. No, damn that shit.
Further than liberal.
Just this right here backs up my story. What happened to me? It lets me further know that whatever she's trying to do, whatever she's thinking she's doing, it is definitely not a service for Black people. It is for herself.
Oh yes, I agree.
So within people like yourself, what the issue that you got with Jose, why don't she get that same energy?
No, I didn't have an issue with Jose. The activist did. So
stop giving these activists. So a lot of these activists, you know how many activists I spoke to, and then after, like, we first started talking, they really want to fight me and want to, get off with my face, and then after it's like, man, you should come to our next event, man, because we need more people like you.
He did call him a pea brain, though.
Well,
pint size.
Yo, I like Shanique though.
Why all the little things?
I like Shanique as well. That's why I asked her to come on the show.
And the fact that she came to the show with a White Claw, very white girlish, by the way, with a White Claw.
I've been accused of many things.
No, hey, I ain't accuse you of nothing. I'm just saying you gangster for it.
You definitely got
your name
respect for it.
fits exactly why you were here.
Right.
She's
Gangster.
But
She gonna pull it out at any time. Shanique will like, yo, listen, my name is Shanique. What's the last name?
Bird.
Oh yeah.
That's why I was trying. I was like, what are you trying to say?
Oh my gosh, you blacker than black. You black.
It's
black.
with a Y as well. It's
Oh, Bird.
BYRD.
Oh yeah, you black. You definitely.
Make sure you
black.
spell that right. I don't think
You definitely like. Oh yeah, my cousins. You got some cousins.
Sorry
you
if you
do
didn't.
not want around, don't you?
well, you know what? The thing is that it's funny when you talk about names and stuff because people who are named white names and they're still as ghetto as they can be. So I think that a name doesn't dictate who or what I am. But I am vocal, right? And I'm vocal, and that's what we connected.
So what's the difference between you and I?
But that's what we connected on when we talked that day. And I was like, I don't know you, so it's not personal. But again, my publication, someone calls me and they tell me to research stuff, just like the $14.5 million debacle or whatever for this mystery. It is because it seems.
Let me tell you something about that. The night that we were voting on that legislation, a developer who has ties to somebody on city council put in an offer on that same building out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, put in an offer. That building has been empty for years. The night that we were to vote on it, that afternoon, a random developer jumped in and said, I want to put an offer, cash offer right now.
So then what happens now?
We lost the contract for that building.
Too dirty.
In the Northwest, in my district, which would have created many jobs, especially jobs for people who are just coming out of jail, mind you. That's a personal problem to me. Like that, I take that personally when I hear something like that.
How did that happen? It's odd that would happen.
We'll talk off air about that.
Yo,
because there's too much behind the scenes that goes on. It's shady, right? That's shady that would happen.
Right.
When it seems.
What would surprise you with Adam McFadden?
No, it wasn't Adam McFadden.
No, I'm just saying, what would surprise you with that after that situation happened?
Oh, after having
we should expect anything. Because again, the president of the Rochester Housing Authority was black. The city council member who was funneling the money was black. City council is like what, 70% black?
And it doesn't benefit the black people in the community.
Right. So,
when are you going to talk about that?
I'm sorry. We can't keep using a systemic racism as a problem.
Listen, the black people who are in power, let's just be honest, they don't have any real power. Okay, so who
has the power?
The mayor?
Who
has the power?
I do.
So you think that I interviewed
the attorney general?
Yo, the mayor of this city had a husband was selling dope for years, all the way up until she was about to be done.
Listen to what
no problem.
I gotta quote this. You declare that the mayor and police chief, among others, were deliberate targets of those who perpetuate racism and control tactics in our community. They all were systematically targeted because of their capacity to bring forth transformative change in our community. So what you're saying right now goes against what you said.
Where is this?
Oh, it's not in that article. It's a whole different article.
Oh,
Oppressive elements in all cases launched overt and covert attacks against our mayor and police chief. No one launched overt and covert attacks against our mayor.
What's the name of that article? Because again, this is a community reporter. People submit articles. Would you understand that?
We need to stop letting them submit articles.
Yeah. How about we just don't let some
they
random
are taking
jabronis
you down? Because
They're
I'm pretty
not taking
sure.
me down
No,
because
no.
this
Here's why.
Listen, no, it doesn't. It doesn't take me down because that's why I'm on this show because it didn't, right?
Well, you on the show because
because
we
I
want
have
some answers.
because,
Goddamn.
no, I'm sorry.
That perpetuates that hype train, you know?
We want to know why you called Jose a Peabody.
Right. No,
P
no,
brain.
you're on the show because unlike what other people say and what other people claim,
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to anybody.
So what does that mean, Jose? So
That
what are
means
they
that
saying
when
about?
people say that they're inclusive,
Mm-hmm.
they're usually lying.
Mm-hmm.
They're not inclusive. They will shut you up real quick, like the 39 comments that they tried doing on Mary Lupien's page. Like when they say that they're inclusive, and I say, "Well, good, okay, cool. I want to be referred as my pronouns as they, them."
Nothing's wrong with that.
Right? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't.
Right?
Oh, he's
Does it
been
pertain to
killed.
you?
No.
Bothered a lot of people.
So how does it bother anybody else?
Because that's just our society now.
Why?
Because everyone has an opinion. Everybody feels that they have a part in somebody else's life, and it shouldn't matter.
Just tell them like
matter.
stop acting like a bitch and shut up, huh?
Say it.
Stop,
Say it to them.
stop
Say it to them in the camera right
Like,
now.
Yo, man up.
Say it to them in the camera right
Listen,
now, please.
Man up.
Because they
grab your
can't
nuts
hear
that
it
ain't
from
there.
someone that's not brown enough.
Yeah, you have to get a tan.
But that's
Yeah.
not right.
That's what I said.
That's not right.
That. Now, Shanique, now you already know.
That's not
I'm
right.
saying that
You
that's-
already know.
Listen, that's what it is. Unfortunately.
So you're saying it's no matter if it's right or wrong, it's still the truth, right?
It's the
But
way
it depends on
people
who
think.
it's coming from, right? You can't like you think about even with
Why?
children. You think about with children when your parents tell you something versus when your friends tell you something, right?
Okay.
It's who delivers it, right? So if you have somebody like Jose saying this stuff, who people already had an issue with previously before he said this, so it's like they believe that he has an issue with Black people. This has been I've heard
Because when there's media supporting that narrative,
Mhm.
But
media media like
Mhm.
Toxin magazine that supports that narrative.
Yeah, Shanique.
No,
You
I
P brain.
again,
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? I'll say this. It wouldn't matter if you were Black though. It would have been the same type of article because it would have been this this out of touch Black
What,
privilege.
what if
whatever.
Marcus Williams said the same thing I
well,
said?
he said something before, and
Uh-huh.
I did say the only way that he would win is if he moved to like Arkansas somewhere and painted himself white.
Arkansas?
Yeah, somewhere where he would have to be all white.
Damn.
He would have to paint himself white and move to like a Western.
Now again, that's the that's the shit that I be talking about with my
But
people.
you can laugh it off. Like if I
No,
were to say
yeah.
something like that
No, I'm gonna say this. That's
about
the
Black
shit.
people, that would be
That's the
my
shit.
head, right?
I'm Black.
No,
Yeah,
but
but that's wrong.
yo, I don't care how I approach a conversation
It's
sometimes.
so wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
Yo,
It's so
I don't know
wrong.
how many times I've come and I've jumped
shit.
into
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh shit!
Then came on. She said,
My
I'm about to-
wife Edna
Oh,
Perez
you
on
got
the
some-
air.
Jose, now listen, man. This is not a sign of weakness of you at all right? This is empowering.
I know when to
Showing
shut up
that
now. I know when to
we
shut up.
know that we can have a show and women can have a conversation and speak their damn minds. I was gonna say this from my own personal experience. How many times I've spoken to so many people within my community, and as soon as I go against anything they believe, I immediately become a coon
Uncle Tom.
or
Oh,
sellout
yeah.
or
Right.
Uncle Tom.
I experienced that too.
And the thing about it is I laugh because I'm like, yo, motherfucker, I'm more for you than you are for
Right.
you.
Right. I'm
You
here to.
understand
I'm here
that?
to. I've empowered more people than some of these activists that I had a call earlier, and he said that because we didn't have one particular person in the room when it came to talking about money for a certain gun violence prevention program, that they got defunded, and so now it's because of that the rise in crime amongst teens,
Oh,
because we didn't let that one person talk in the room. I said, hold on, you're telling me that the one person created this entire problem? It wasn't like defunding police. It wasn't taking people out of classes, out of schools, letting them sit at home all day. It wasn't allowing people to have parties in the middle of the street with 200 people smoking, drinking, blocking roads. It was none of that.
No. We've
None of that.
always been like, again, going back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. I'll say this, right? When slavery ended, right? Do we all think that every single free person was a moral, just person that didn't do bad shit? Accountability has been an issue for the Black community for years. Not just Black people, humans, period.
I was
Humans.
gonna say.
Humans. So, like, for what's going on today, there has to be some like drawback from us as a people to where we just can't keep playing the blame game and start with the basics of what the fuck are we doing?
I didn't realize the time, but my wife came on for a reason. I'm guessing.
Yes.
No, I just kept blurring stuff, and he's like,
Damn.
Oh.
Right. So your husband, right, is here, and you gotta see some of the shit that be like, I'd be like, oh, hell no, Jose. How do you kind of, I don't know, register some of the stuff that you see, and you know the man, you know what his intentions are. Like, how do you kind of respond to it? How do you even function?
man, that's hard. He knows, like, I stay off social media. I don't do the politics
Smart
and
woman.
all that stuff.
That's why you married her, huh? Makes sense.
I do always read the comments and things like that. And I find myself like replying, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do it. But he knows if I comment on it, then it's serious. And then he knows when he's in trouble, I'm like,
Mind I ask your nationality?
I'm Spanish.
Oh, so he was Puerto Rican enough for you to marry, right?
Uh-huh.
He was brown enough. Okay, so when you see those things as a fellow Puerto Rican, right? You be like, yo, this motherfucker eat pork shoulder just like me. I always put pork shoulder on.
I do eat a lot of pork.
That pork.
A
is
whole
good.
lot of
I ain't
pork.
gonna lie, pork. So when you
She's a
like
great cook.
again, like that is a form of racism, you could say, right? Like, how can you marginalize people that's within your own community? Same with Black folks. So you have to ask, like, overall, like, yo, what are we all doing, people? It's like this. You ever see the Spider-Man meme? Everybody's pointing at everybody.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody set this little covert plan up to where.
Do you not think it was do you not think it was a certain group of people that have been planning this
I do.
the entire time to pit us against each other?
Oh, I do.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Of course.
So why do we fall into it then? Because I'm sitting here across from the person that wrote these disparaging,
Right.
discussing things about, but I can sit across from you and have a conversation. I can sit down with you and have another article. Like, to me, and I told you this, I don't take this kind of stuff personally. I mean, social media
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's not real. I don't care who these random people are that don't know me. I don't care about what they think about me. You're like, well, you should care about your constituents. Yes,
Exactly.
I should.
Yes.
But my constituents, they don't talk to me like this. They say, hey, look, this is what we're looking out for you to do. This is what I want you to do. You know what they care about? They care about their garbage getting picked up.
Mm-hmm.
They care about the rats coming up from their neighbor's house because it's some absentee landlord that is allowing someone to stay there for free, even though that's not them that's doing it. They care about the parties happening down the street at the after hours spot. They care about the gunshots happening every single night. They don't care about the social media stuff. They don't care about none of this. They don't care about this. Are you brown enough stuff?
But
This
do you
isn't-
think we wouldn't even be having this conversation if this article or these articles didn't catch people's attention?
Well, that's
So-
the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing about life is that everything happens for a reason, right?
Right.
And I was excited to have you on because I knew you were going to be able to stand your ground and be able to have a conversation and stand up. Because you know when people are asked to come on the show and they won't unless like they have a whole entourage with them.
Right.
What do you? So what was the name of my man book?
Whose book?
What's my man book? You ain't shit.
You want him out to shit?
You
or
want him
something
out the shit?
Yeah.
So
Dr. Kia.
Dr. Kia, right?
Nyame.
Yeah.
You know him?
Right. So again, you have a guy who's selling a book for $20 a pop of pretty much 30
Maybe it was just
pages,
to me. Maybe it was just to me.
30 pages of nothingness.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many prominent, not I would say prominent. Well, I will say prominent because we do have a lot of prominent Black people that are out there.
That have been on the show.
Well, I'm talking about like prominent, like the Mike,
Kanye West.
Well, I can't even call Michael Clark Dyson prominent, but we have people like that, like a lot of intellectuals who are smart enough to put themselves in a position where they're making a lot of money based off of their intelligence, but they're using the black problems, the black plight as their, their resource or their source of, financial gain. Like someone like what's his name? The professor.
The basketball player?
No, the Harvard professor. He tries to look like Frederick Douglass.
Oh.
I wonder why I'm freaking
here in Rochester.
No.
There's a guy here that
you're not even making it any better. And it's
He's
after a couple of these
Harvard professor.
After all these freaking
I can't think of his name.
Drinks of whiskey. That's probably why I'm forgetting his name. But at any rate, a lot of people don't know his backstory. His father used to work for the Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
But yet he talks about the systemic problems of the United States and the oppression, imperialistic.
As his father is
Yes, his father was the former Secretary of Defense of the United States of America, but yet again, all of the oppression that America has.
So you don't
caused.
believe in oppression or systemic racism?
So
none of that?
I believe
I'll say no.
I don't
think it's ever impacted me to the point where it stopped me from being able to succeed in life. Like it exists, but it exists like God exists, right? God exists, Satan exists. They exist, but they're not right in front of me. They're not preventing me from doing anything.
Maybe because your parents pushed and motivated you to be.
Maybe
better.
it was the way I was raised.
How dare your parents do that? Right?
And it speaks.
Right. So so just to answer your question, as far as do I believe in oppression? Good. Well, hey, I was late.
It's like 9:30. This has been a great conversation. So I'm happy that it has been this long.
It has been.
This has been one of my favorite conversations.
Do I believe in oppression? No.
Oh.
No.
Well, we should.
Because I believe in poverty. I believe in poor, because if you believe that you're poor, if you believe that you are impoverished, then that will last a lifetime. It's all about the individual. Because I'll give you this example.
Mhm.
I have two relatives, okay, that lived on the corner of Jefferson and Champlain Street all the way through their collegiate lives. Okay. Now, they didn't have a lot of money, but they lived in the hardest part of the city. One of them graduated from U of R and then also studied abroad at Manchester United. The other one also, I forgot the college that she went to. Both have PhDs. Both are working for some super biological, nuclear, whatever company, okay? But they lived right there on that corner. So what would you contribute their success to?
Well, the issue is there's a glass ceiling. Like I talk to people.
There's no
president of the United States.
I just said
the president Barack
one graduated
Obama
from the U of R, and then so a lot of I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back because we keep talking about there must be a cause and effect for someone else's success or inability to do anything.
I'm not saying black people can't be successful. I'm not one of those people.
But no. So why is it such a broad? But we're painting this broad brushes that there is like for.
So
all
you
right.
think
So
that
for what?
It's you. So you think that? Oh, I shouldn't overtalk you. But
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm bringing out I'm bringing out Shanique.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the clap.
Well, you're not going to see the clap. You might see me move a little bit.
That's what I want to see. I want all of it. I want all the smoke, Shanique. Let's go. Because we don't only listen. Let's go.
Please don't stereotype me. But
yes.
But my point is, there are so many black people living in poverty, and if you think that it's just, oh, this is not by design, you think about the programs that they have. You think about everything. Even I had this big little situation about LaRon Singletary running as a Republican.
Congress.
Why?
Because people feel that because he's black, he is a sellout. Because he's running I think it's crazy. I love the fact that he's running as a Republican, but some black people aren't looking at it that way. It was a hot button topic.
Is that not the oppressed mind speaking.
These are people who are educated.
That they think they are.
They could be
Well, so-
educated.
Well,
all they
that's
want.
my problem. Is that okay?
W.E.B.
he
Du
just-
Bois was educated, but he was 100% wrong in his ideology.
But the point is, you just talked about two people who got educated, and you acted as
Yeah,
if
you
that-
can't-
But what
make them
I'm,
the-
but I'm
Okay.
using
Yeah.
I'm using them as an example because of where they were. They are in an impoverished area. They're on Champlain and Jefferson, right?
Right, but once you get to a certain, I know people who got to a certain level, and because they believe, because of their race, they couldn't get any further. So
They
you can
believed.
get educated.
They
They
believed.
themselves.
Do you want to know
What?
why they were successful? It's because of the household. It's because of the people that they had to support them. So other kids who are born into situations that are not as
Well, you need to talk to
Supportive.
people who are, like at that level. Like talk to them when they're at that level and what did they experience? Because a lot of people that I talk to who are at certain levels experience racism even more when they're at these high,
do
when
you
they
know?
get, because
No.
what they're saying is that people pretend as if Black people aren't going out there and doing the work. Like you just said, Mary Lupian did you. A lot of people who get to a certain level, white people or people who are non-people of color, look at them as if this has been, what is the affirmative action, and you didn't work for this. So then they treat you differently because they
just
think
not good enough. Like, yo, Black people need to learn how to compete.
But hold on,
man.
but I think we can agree.
we are some very strong. Like, we want to be the best. We the best hoopers. We the best rappers, right? We the best singers. But when it comes down to the basic shit of getting a job, just because you get rejected, that's fucking life. Get over it. Go and find another one. Fight for the shit that you want, and stop trying to point the finger at everybody and say, oh, it's the race card. A lot of people, and I find this is the shit that I find. I went to I'm an urban suburban program, right? I graduated in Irondequoit, but I lived in the city. So I had that dynamic, right? I would take my ass back to the hood, but I would go out to the suburb and be I was the first one to get picked up, the last one to get dropped off. Catching the bus at 6:30 in the morning,
Sucks.
go to a white school, fucking sucks, right? It sucks. But right, but I had that dynamic to where I would come home, right? And I would be around my people, be around my peers, and then I'll go to white school and I'll have to interact with that, right? So I saw both sides. You know, a lot of my Black friends that go to the city schools, they're not experiencing a lot of white interaction. They don't have white interactions. So any encounter that they have, it's a negative one with a white person, their default every single time is it's racist because they don't like me because I'm white and because I'm Black, right? So I think for me, and just having that ability to learn and see from both sides, that's a problem with a lot of Black folks that went to Wilson, Marshall, Franklin. Now, I went to a Franklin graduation, my cousin's graduation. There was only 34 people that graduated from Franklin that year.
Ooh.
This was in 98.
I graduated like 350.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault was that?
But at the same time, we can't say that the type of people that you're around versus the type of people you're around versus the type of people I'm around, because we're all a magnet to like-minded people for the most part, right? We get surrounded, we attract those who are like-minded to us. So the people that you're around about are obviously going to be different minded from people who you might be around, who claim that oppression is holding them back, when you are the epitome of a Black man that's fighting through that oppression without looking at it, not even seeing it, not even realizing it, not even paying attention to it because you're so focused. And you did the same thing too.
He's paying attention to it because he talked about Mary Lupian.
No, I'm not. No, I've been paying attention to this shit well before Mary Lupian. Mary Lupian just came to my life within the last
But my
5,
point
6
is,
months.
so you've seen,
She came into his mind because of this
Mary
this
Lupian.
podcast, actually.
I'm just saying,
Mary
Lupian.
Lupian to me is I honestly, like, she's a wolf in sheep clothing when you're talking about racist and shit. Like, she has no experience whatsoever, I think, in even handling any type of racial situation.
But
She's
maybe
not the first person.
racist, though, right?
I just think she's ignorant.
Say it
Like,
again.
this-
Say it
Didn't
again.
he say
This-
she was a racist?
This
or
comment,
something?
no.
Or
This
what did you say
comment,
about
what
it?
she said, what I said that she said to me, and also this comment right here has you can definitely put this up as like a reverse racism type comment, because you pretty much marginalized this kid or told this kid that he's thinking that, you know, he has to paint himself white in order to be successful, etc. You're pretty much putting this kid you're speaking for this kid, just like she spoke for me and what I thought in my whole entire. You can't do that. You can't do that. Period.
She did
I
to
feel
me
like
too.
that's what she does a lot, though.
She did
Yeah.
to me
Speaks
though
up
too.
for other people's not ever being.
But why
in
the
their
fuck does she get a
situation.
pass? though?
Exactly.
Because she's a white Democrat and nobody black that's a Democrat gonna call her out on that bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
my
that's exactly
shit.
what it
That's
is.
my shit with black Democrats.
Then
Yeah.
put
Black
that. Then
Democrats
put
are
that.
nothing but pussies.
I've talked about
Period.
Mary Lupin. I've
There's-
talked about Rachel Barnhart.
There's a
We
lot of
talked
black
about-
Democrats that are pussies, but you know the black Democrat that I pump with that's no longer Democrat, Cynthia McKinney. If anybody look her name
I don't know.
up, she got well, look her up. Look her up. She was a black Democrat that got pushed out by the white liberals, because she was pushing too many buttons on child trafficking. But we're not going to talk about that
That's a whole
because
other episode.
that's a whole nother episode,
episode.
folks.
But I want to thank you, Shanique Byrd from Toxin Magazine for coming in, because this was a great conversation. Honestly, it really was a great conversation, because I think that majority of Rochester saw this as the type of conversation that needs to be had
Mhm.
amongst each other to get it all out, right? To get it all out and say, look, this is what's on my mind. This
some
is how I
comments.
feel.
We got a lot of comments.
Oh shit! Sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. I didn't even go through. Dan Rice, good to see you again. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Kevin actually had my favorite part of it. It was it was the Jesus one, just because I had Jesus in there.
Jesus.
Ding 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 ding. Where is it?
It's like
Right? No, that's a woke mob. Woke mob.
this is.
It was about woke mob, and it was that Jesus got hung on a cross by the woke mob right there. Look at what the woke mob did to Jesus. I'm not saying I'm Jesus.
Oh, apparently you are. You're
Some others might say that. I would never say
okay,
that.
Okay.
But I am a reflection of my Father,
Oh.
my heavenly Father.
Okay.
And in that case,
this dude right here, man. You gonna give?
she gets it every day.
I bet.
You hear that
I
laugh?
bet.
You hear that laugh right there? That's every day I gotta hear
She's
this.
a gangster. She come here with the Guns N' Roses t-shirt on.
You see, that's my army jacket.
Right. Well,
She
again, man.
repurposed my army jacket
Oh, okay.
into
I
her
like
own
it.
thing.
Gangster.
It's not legal. Trust me. We had this discussion.
She came and took damn Mike.
But yeah, I want to thank Shanique Byrd for coming on. I thank you so much. Really, it was a great
You're welcome.
conversation. I
dope.
really had a good time.
That was dope.
We might have to
With the white girl, white claw.
the mango. No, it was mango, so it's like
mango. All right. Yeah.
Latina.
Little. It's like, I got to get the mango one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
getting that
She
strawberry
was very
lime.
specific. Very specific about the mango.
No plain, just mango.
Mango.
Yo,
So I
ain't shit.
appreciate
You
that.
have to make me clap, right?
No, that's what I wanted to
God.
see, but it was close.
Yeah.
You kept moving like, hold on, this motherfucker.
I appreciate Lavelle gracing us with his presence tonight.
Yes.
As late as he was, I'm gonna hear the story after this.
Oh,
And let's shout out to Edna here for jumping on the mic. She is not a public speaking. She hates being around public eye. For her to be on a microphone, that's crazy. We are gonna have a wife night where we're gonna have.
Did he say? Wait, scroll down. Wait, scroll back down. Mary adheres to white ally principles.
That's pretty good too.
That was a good one too.
Right.
Mm.
Rachel and Mary are race hustlers.
Yo, I had a
That story's probably a lie. Oh, it's definitely a lie. There's
Yo,
no
I had-
way that
I
was a
had-
true
Yeah, I
story.
thought
No
it was
way.
a lie when I read it.
I had a cringeworthy conversation with an attorney I know.
Are we still going with the podcast?
We might I just want to say this one thing.
He's got to go home. He's got a family.
Because I just want to I can see where
They're gonna charge us double. Tom's gonna be billing me tomorrow.
I can see where a lot of people have this like, I don't know, this thinking that we really are fucked up, like we need help. Like this prominent attorney was like, well, you gotta admit, Lavelle, like, I mean, there's a lot of problems within the black community, and you guys need. I'm like,
The white savior
hear that.
mentality.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I don't need that shit,
That's
man.
annoying.
Like,
You know how many times I've told them, like, I don't need
Yes.
you to speak for me.
I have said that when I worked with that unnamed organization. I said, me and my friends are not looking for white saviors. We're not looking for help.
Right.
Okay, like
Right.
that is the part that kills me. Is that every time they feel like they need to come and save us? No,
Right.
no. Like I'm thinking I'm coming in to help people, but they're looking at me as a victim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the victim.
That's why I be calling
oppress
them
you
black
inside your mind.
politicians up like Barack
Yes.
Obama.
Bro.
Yes.
Yo,
it's
you know
crazy.
you in trouble. You go into a family house. You like every black person got Obama up on their wall. You like, damn. Can't
Right,
talk
right.
politics in here.
Right next to the black Jesus.
Can't talk politics in this house.
All All right, we got to get Austin and Dan, the cousins, home here.
Yeah.
They got kids to take care of. I
Dan
don't think
does.
Austin does. Austin doesn't have any kids.
He's working on it.
Not that he knows.
Yeah, I saw that 12 force he got in there. That's
Yo,
gotta be
you
from
see
you.
how fast his beard grew
No?
back though? His beard grew
Yeah, it
back
was
like
that quick.
in 1 week.
That porn stash was blended in really
That
easily,
shit
really
was
quickly.
like
So I want to
gone.
appreciate everybody for joining in. I appreciate Dan for jumping back in here. I'm not even gonna say I'm sorry for going this long because if it's a great conversation, I didn't realize what time it was. To be honest, it just like kept going. Yeah, I had to see it from the corner, like.
Right.
And I apologize. I apologize to our producer Austin here. But if you were to ever come across the great Kanye West
Mm-hmm.
or John Leguizamo,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have them on my podcast. Let them know I've been trying to get a hold of them. They
Oh,
don't answer
good.
their phones.
She don't know who that is.
Yeah,
Yay.
she knows what John Leguizamo
Ye's not
is.
answering because you
Yeah.
keep calling him Kanye.
You don't know John Leguizamo?
She don't know. She don't know. She listen.
That's fine. That's like
Shanique-
good.
Shanique
It's a good
like-
thing.
Funny. He's funny.
Shanique like
I'm out.
she like nah.
Who is
son.
he?
Two
She
one
like, Who
food.
that? Who that?
He's a
He,
racist.
Oh.
he is not a racist.
He
He's
played
super
the
left
son
though.
of
Super left.
Sam. He's the voice of the like bug-eyed
He
kid
is,
on
oh my god, Latinx.
Ice Age.
And Carlito's way, he's Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy from
Luigi.
Carlito.
Carlito. Oh, I don't know.
Carlito.
You know
he's
another
a
movie where he
great
had an
actor.
Italian that
Yes.
played a Puerto Rican.
With El Pacino.
There's only like maybe 4 Puerto Rican actors
There's
that we all
three
know.
Puerto Rican actors.
Selena
Three?
Gomez.
Yeah.
Who?
The one from.
Wait,
Um,
pull him up. Pull him up now. I want to.
Oh, now you want to see? We'll see after. Let's get them out.
Right.
I want to thank you so much, everybody that's out there. Oh, he's gonna pull it up anyways. All right, so John Leguizamo. I can't believe you.
There you go.
yes,
know that?
I know
Know
who
who
he
he
Oh my
is.
is.
god.
So he Puerto Rican?
Yeah, but she don't know him by name.
I don't know him
Oh,
by
okay.
name, but he's in every movie. He's
thought
in
he was
a lot of
Italian.
He is the token Puerto Rican in every movie, right?
I thought he was Italian.
No, I
Nope. He plays along an Italian that plays a Puerto Rican.
Yeah, no, I knew he was Puerto Rican though.
Yeah.
Yo,
I
we
know.
gonna get
Well,
canceled
him.
because of me.
If you ever see him
Yes, okay.
and you remember his name, let him know. I'm trying to get a hold of his far lefty.
he
self.
won't let me bring up Nicki Minaj. That's my boo.
Oh,
She-
you-
when
she
she
might have
stood
that
up to the
picture.
vax, boy, I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
You saw that, right?
oh, my baby.
Oh, we didn't even get into the stories. I wanted to get your
I
input on
know
it.
we were
Freedom
supposed
But
to.
we'll have another episode, I'm
Okay.
sure, because I'm sure you're gonna lambast me on.
You gotta shut
your
that pea
magazine
brain
tomorrow.
down.
Right?
I'm taking Howard.
Pint-sized PO.
Howard has been after you. You know, he's
Ain't nobody care about no Howard.
Who?
It's Howard.
Howard Eagle.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, that's another person I gotta know. Oh shit.
Exactly.
Yo, Jose,
Okay.
I was not planning
mean-
on like really seeing all these like crazy prominent people that's in the city of Rochester and looking like the crazy black dude, and they were like,
You're welcome.
you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that platform because you be causing a lot of fucking problems, man. Like you be having motherfuckers look at me like, yo, that motherfucker sell out right
They
there,
be
too.
causing a lot of problems.
Yeah, no,
Right.
Jose.
They them.
But Jose, yeah, they them. But Jose don't be giving a shit. Yeah, I know you don't. I was like, yo, Jose crazy as hell. That motherfucker crazy.
You see this face?
I know.
This face is an awesome face.
I'm
Ask,
not going that
ask my
far.
mom. She told
Well,
me
that's-
every day when I was growing
Only
up.
person that need to know that face is awesome is your wife.
Right. That's right. That's right. All right. I love you all.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for being on the show. Sorry we went too long. If you're still watching out there, we love you. We appreciate you. We're getting t-shirts made. I'm still trying to get the right freaking logo for it. But appreciate you all. Austin, hit that funky music.
God, them t-shirts.